Chloe Peterson says, sources confirmed to me, Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle on August the 7th. So Caitlin Clark basically got hurt again. How did she get hurt again? I don't know. It's definitely looking hella spooky right now, because if Caitlin was hurt and supposed to have been not doing certain things, how do the Fever organization allow her to get hurt again?
Devastation has struck Indiana Fever Nation with a vengeance. Another wound, another disappointment, and yet another heartbreaking reminder that even heroes can experience tragedy. The irresistible force that transformed arenas into cathedrals, Caitlin Clark, is currently trapped in an endless cycle of injury reports with no end in sight. It goes beyond simply missing games this time. It has to do with missing a whole season. It concerns the methodical dismantling of the most captivating talent the WNBA has ever witnessed.
Odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place. Just there's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell what is the payout for somebody who bet, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions. What's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoffs? Indiana Fever reporters, beat writers, pawns, whatever you want to call them, they are suddenly reporting an August 7th ankle injury.
Even the most upbeat fan would go for the tissues after reading the stats. This season, Clark has missed 22 games. 22? Some athletes miss more games than that in their whole careers.
None of this stuff, why tell us now? None of this stuff is it's not making sense, man. I mean, this organization, man, it's being run like a mom and pop shop, bro. God, what is going on? What is going on, man? I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. It's just flat out, it's absurd. I don't even, nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's liars. We can't get the truth about anything. There's a video of Caitlin Clark trying to jog. She looks awful just trying to trot. I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is terrible. I told y'all, it's a wrap. I don't want to say it's a wrap. I told y'all she's done for the season. It's a wrap.
The player who participated in every game during her rookie WNBA season and who never missed a game during her 4 years at Iowa is now amassing injuries like trading cards. While she was attempting to recover from her previous injuries, she sustained a left quad strain, a left groin injury, a right groin injury, and now a bone bruise in her left ankle. It's similar to witnessing a work of art being defaced in real time.
Until yesterday, we knew about the quad injury earlier this summer. We knew about the groin injury that's kept her sidelined damn near the entire season. Now we are being told that Caitlin Clark suffered a bone bruise in her ankle during a workout 2 weeks ago. This poor girl is falling apart in her early 20s. Part of me understands the push to get Caitlin Clark back on the court. The Indiana Felines are barely hanging on to their playoff spot.
Subscribe if you're enjoying it. Let's discuss what we are seeing in this situation. It's not simply bad luck, after all. This is methodical. This is a premeditated action. The WNBA is doing nothing at all while watching their brightest star be dismantled piece by piece. Clark had such a promising start to the 2025 season. Their star was the cornerstone of the Indiana Fever's championship-caliber lineup. The calendars of the fans were noted. They bought season tickets. There were dreams in the making. Then, like an unwanted relative at Thanksgiving, reality interrupted the celebration.
Because Caitlin Clark is the most covered player the WNBA has ever seen. So if she had an injury or tweak something or hurt something almost 2 weeks ago, you probably think we would have heard about it by now, right? Right. Scott Agnes reports Fever All-Star guard Caitlin Clark tweaked her left ankle during a workout in Phoenix, league sources told Fieldhouse Files. Chloe Peterson confirms this. Sources confirm to me that Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle. A tweak, bone bruise, forget it.
After suffering a left quad strain, the first domino missed 5 games. However, Clark, being Clark, recovered and defeated the reigning champion New York Liberty by 32 points. It appeared as though the basketball gods were grinning once more for a fleeting instant. However, that smile was a nasty joke. After that, the left groin injury occurred, depriving supporters who were only interested in seeing brilliance of 4 more games. She had changed by the time she returned. An unusual 12.5 points over 4 games on 31% shooting. It was a dimmer spark. There was less magic.
Caitlin Clark injury situation is officially a mess because not only is there not more clarity, there's more confusion about what her timeline could be. And that's coming on the heels of it seeming to be pretty clear when Clark would return to the court, or about when she would return to the court. It was said on the ESPN broadcast on August 12th that Stephanie White hoped Clark would be back in practice this week. Open portion of practice, Clark is not seen. And Stephanie White afterwards said it's status quo until Clark is back at practice. Well, what changed? Right? I know there's never been a direct timeline, but all the signs seem to point in the direction of Clark returning.
Then came the fatal blow. She suffered a right groin injury against Connecticut on July 15th, which has prevented her from playing in 13 straight games and counting.
There's more, though.
Because it seems that the gods of basketball have a terrible sense of humor. During an August 7th practice, Clark injured her left ankle while attempting to recover from a groin ailment. They described it as a very minor bone bruise. They said it wouldn't impact her timeline. The problem with injuries, however, is this. They don't exist in a vacuum when you're dealing with this many. They combine, they are layered. They construct a house of cards that keeps collapsing.
Idea when Caitlin Clark is coming back, or if she is coming back at all. Every time that they get asked, they just say TBD. We have no idea what's going on, which is, in my opinion, quite suspicious. You kind of know what is going to happen with an injury. The doctors can give you an estimate. The player can tell you, you know what, I'm not really feeling that great. I don't expect to be coming back, but she has been practicing with the team. Maybe she's going to come back for the playoffs and help them get that championship, or at least try to get the championship.
Folks, this is when the story becomes angry. This was not an isolated incident. This was not some strange mishap or unfortunate turn of events. This was the logical outcome of a league that permitted, indeed, encouraged, its players to treat Caitlin Clark like a basketball-clad tackling dummy. Recall the eye pokes, cheap shots, and blindside shives that sent Clark to the ground as officials surrounding him thumbed up their collective ass. Only after the game was Marina Mabra's shoved to the ground of Clark upgraded to a flagrant 2. Clark's eyes are being targeted by JCS Sheldon, knowing full well that the referees would either ignore them or give them a pointless technical foul. Player after player gave the league's biggest star their best shot.
It's crazy. They can't see all of these fouls and flagrants that's happening, especially when it comes to our precious CC, Caitlin Clark. At the end of the day, but they have time to pay attention to your podcast and finding you. You know what I'm saying? Because of you calling them out on they miss. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about them jive turkeys like they would say in the 70s. At the end of the day, keep it to yourself. Even if you did know when Caitlin Clark, aka my precious and our precious CC, was coming back, which we know she's not coming back. She's out for the rest of the season. She needs to stay out for the rest of the season because of this organization in the WNBA is a whole catastrophe.
Clark's old Iowa coach, Lisa Bluer, anticipated this development. She demanded ejections when players went too far, painful fines, and rule modifications. However, the WNBA wasn't really protecting her since they were too preoccupied with tallying the money Clark was earning. They allowed the physical play to intensify. They consented to the targeting. They did nothing while they watched game after game as their golden goose was trampled down. They are currently coping with the fallout from their carelessness. As authorities continue to act as though this is all a coincidence, the athlete who single-handedly took their league to new heights is confined to the sidelines, watching her sophomore season go away. It's impossible to overlook the bitter irony. Clark has now missed 60% of the 2025 season, despite never missing a game in her basketball career prior to this one. Instagram stories and practice updates that never materialize are all that remain of the lady who made every venue a sold-out spectacle and who made fans spend $670 to breathe the same air as her magnificence. Coach Stephanie White continues to provide the same blank responses. It's essentially the same until she can start practicing and you see her doing so. Translation: they don't know if or when she will return. September 9th marks the conclusion of the regular season. September 14th marks the commencement of the playoffs. The window gets a little bit closer to closing every day.
Can't stand Stephanie White because she keeps covering up and doing lies, and I find her very deceiving, and she lacks integrity. She don't tell the truth. Remember, she covered for Dewana Bonner, saying she had personal reasons and didn't tell the truth about it. And then she lied about Caitlin Clark's injury, where it was a lot severe than it was, but she said day to day, kept stringing a carrot. And then once again, she lied again and didn't say a word about her being hurt, getting her ankle hurt. What's up with this team being like very deceiving and not telling the truth and not like being transparent with the fans? Like, people love Caitlin Clark. They want to know what's going on. They're worried about her groin injury. Is she getting better? Is she not? You know, we're all thinking, oh, she might be coming back soon.
To their credit, the Fever have survived without their best player, winning 10-9 in the games that Clark has missed. But let's face it, they didn't build this squad to live without their best player. They created it to win a championship. They are now in 6th position at 19-16, clinging to a postseason berth, while seeing their hopes of winning a title vanish with every Clarkless game. Additionally, the wounds continue to mount up around her. Ari McDonald, broken foot. Sydney Carlson, torn ACL. Sophie Cunningham, torn 150. The entire team seems to have been punished by the basketball gods for having the audacity to center their exceptional talent on something unique. Fans of the Indiana Fever are not only upset, but also incensed, and with good reason. They bought season tickets. They arranged their schedules according to the games. They had faith in winning a championship. Rather, fans are listening to the medical personnel of their team provide updates that resemble hostage talks more than injury reports. You can feel the frustration on social media. Instead of taking a chance on more injuries, fans are urging the Fever to bench Clark for the season. Others are calling for inquiries into the league's player safety and officiating policies. Some people are even wondering if the Fever and the WNBA are being open and honest about how serious Clark's injuries are. Clark's teammate Sophie Cunningham, who is now finished for the season as well, defended the group against conspiracy ideas. But when you're dealing with this degree of persistent failure, her statements seem hollow. Something is seriously wrong when your best player goes from never missing a game to missing over half of a season.
It's injured, but she suffered 3 lower leg injuries, and now we're talking about Caitlin Clark suffering a minor leg injury as well in practice, which has affected her shot while she was trying to play through her injuries, affected her shooting for her long distance, her jumping, her elevation. We all know what happens when you aren't right as a guard and you have to get lift and you have to score, you have to push off on your legs and your foot. You do not want to risk Caitlin Clark coming back and her suffering serious injury that may prolong her being out for even longer. That's not what you want to do. We've seen it happen to Kevin Durant. When he came back, he had a calf strain. We've seen it happen to...
The league is in an unworkable situation. Dusting the bench is their greatest attraction, their most marketable star, and their ticket to popular recognition. The athlete who drove TV ratings skyrocketing and packed arenas to capacity is suddenly a question mark with no answers. The WNBA is coping with other humiliating circumstances in the interim. Security issues, the throwing of sex items into courts, and an overall feeling that the league has lost control of its own storyline. However, nothing comes close to the Clark scenario. This goes beyond a single player or group. This relates to the league's incapacity to safeguard its most important resource. Commissioner Kathy Engelberg discusses task forces for player safety. However, when Clark was being outplayed in game after game, where was that task force? Where had the suspensions gone? Where had the substantial fines gone? For a player who was essentially keeping their league afloat, where was the protection?